Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News. Yes, your place for entertainment headlines, and indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about new movies, new movie news, all the trending movie news headlines, including Halle Berry in a new movie. Sofia Coppola has a new movie opening up pretty soon called Priscilla. We'll take a look at that. Matthew Vaughn talks about the MCU, the Marvels Runtime. Is it going to be a big issue? It seems like it's being touted as so. I don't think so. I don't think that's a big deal. We got a new Cloverfield. In fact, we got new Godzilla stuff. Godzilla Minus One release. That's cool. I'm a Godzilla fan. I know you guys are too. Big kaiju. But we start off today's show by talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. That opens up this weekend for the Halloween. And it's looking like it's going to make quite a significant amount of money. Five Nights at Freddy's is forecast to scare up 50 million bones. 50 million clams, that's a lot of money. Drops in theaters and on Peacock over its opening weekend. Now, it is a day and date release on Peacock. Will that hurt it? I don't know. I thought it was going to be like a couple of weeks before it got out on Peacock, but I totally forgot that it was going to be day and day release. And I thought it was poised to actually do fairly well at the weekend's box office because last week we had the Taylor Swift movie and Killers of the Flower Moon. And Taylor Swift only made 33 and Killers only made 23. So I thought it was poised to make an easy $25 million this weekend. But now they're saying up to 50 million. That seems a little bit grandiose now that I know that it's a day and date release. Did you guys know that? I'm still anticipating this. Unfortunately, it's under that review embargo that doesn't drop until like, what is it, noon hour tomorrow? Which is, wow, the movie opens up tomorrow. So my God, this seems to be the trend these days. That movie, like, is it, for these types of movies, do you need to have early critics come out and say that it's awesome? I don't know, because I think I was forecasting Five Nights at Freddy's to be one of those movies where it's immune to criticism, just like the way that Exorcist Believer has dumbfounded us here. It's just kind of like we come out of it and it's like, guys, it wasn't that good. It's don't bother, don't waste your money on it. But it's got its fan base. I acknowledge that. It's horror, which is up my alley. The animatronics are done by Jim Henson Studios, so I think that's going to be fairly cool. But, and I had forecasted to be number one, and I thought maybe around 35 million, 50 million seems a little bit much now that we know that it's going to be day and day release, because people will be able to just watch it at home. And why would you go to the theater with a whole bunch of people when you could just sit at home and watch it on Peacock? Yeah. Ooh. I don't know. Ooh, yeah. I think it may hurt it. 50 million is grandiose, but I won't be shocked because it is the Halloween weekend. And what else do you have in the theater right now aside from that? Of course, you got Exorcist, and you still got Saw 10 hanging in there. But then you got a bunch of re-releases coming out. I think like Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff. 50 million is somewhat reasonably obtainable, but yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. You got Freelance also opening up this weekend. That's that John Cena comedy with Alison Brie, which I will go out and see. I will go see that one. Killers of the Flower Moon is going to have its second week. The World's Greatest Dad. I thought they were going to put out some fan favorites, but I guess not. Maybe that's on the weekend. We'll have to see. But Five Nights at Freddy's, 50 million, no embargo. You know what? Who would be happy with this is the Marvels. I think they would be really happy with a $50 million opening, which I don't think it will. We're in the middle of the week here, guys. It's Wednesday. So we'll have to see as we edge closer to Friday and its official release. Preview screenings for Five Nights at Freddy's begin at 3 p.m. on Thursday, October. Yeah. So we'll have to see. Pay attention for my straight out of the theater reaction. That'll be up later on I'm seeing at 4:30 tomorrow, but I have got to come back and get changed for a birthday party that I have to go to. And depending on how late that birthday party goes, um, I'll get it edited and put it up on the channel later on. Before the end of the night tomorrow, I'll have my straight out of the theater reaction for Five Nights at Freddy's. Freddy Fazbear. Yes. Reigning Terror. 50 million though. Day and day release. Does it give you pause? Let me know in the comments below. Arglass says, I did not know Five Nights was being released on Peacock at the same time. You have to wonder if Predator Prey got the same treatment. Would it have gotten more buzz in the theaters? I wish they released Predator Prey in the theater. I also wish they released Hellraiser in the theater. I think you would have gotten a little bit more cheddar and more bang for your buck up on the big screen. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. Guys, you know that I am a huge Godzilla fan. We've got a couple of headlines for Godzilla. And let's start off with that one about Godzilla Minus One gets a UK distribution deal. Okay. Well, we know that we're getting in the United States sometime around the early November, right? But it's going to be like limited release or something. Tokyo Film Festival next week, the 37th film in Godzilla franchise. It's going to get a UK release, so fans of Godzilla in the UK, rejoice! You're going to get to see the big man on the screen. Good for it. Good for you. The latest installment in Toho's long-running monster film franchise is going to be Glasgow-based distributor Anime Limited. Has picked up the action movie for a December 15th release in the UK. And guys, if you haven't seen the trailers for it, it looks absolutely phenomenal. I want to check this thing out because it looks like they're taking it back to that kind of freaky, like Godzilla's big and he runs over people, he destroys the town, and it just looks rather impressive for the budget that they had. Man in suit kind of thing, but it's not. It's CG, and it looks fantastic. So you guys will be able to see this December 15th. This is the first trailer. This is not the TV spot where you see him come after the boat, but it looks like they've got some magic in the bottle here. Minus One, Godzilla Minus One. So I am looking forward to that. When does it come out here in North America? November. Well, it gets released in Tokyo November 2nd, right? Yeah, we know that it's directed by a CGI animator and VFX artist, Takashi Yamazaki. Yes. Minus One will hold its world premiere in Japan October 18th, so it's already opened up in Japan, and then theatrically in North America November 3rd. But it's going to be limited. It's not going to be a wide, like 3,000 plus theaters, guys. So if you get a chance to go out and see it, I hope it's going to be playing near me. I may even drive 75 kilometers or more to a theater where it is playing so that I can see it, because that's how much Godzilla means to me. I want to see this film. It just looks like it's going to be on that next level. So November 3rd for us here in North America, December 15th for the people in the UK, Godzilla Minus One. I hope it becomes like that sleeper hit where everybody's kind of like, you got to check out that Godzilla movie, man. And it just gets that word of mouth, kind of like the Terrifier series, where it's kind of like, it just gets that kind of notoriety where it's like, Godzilla deserves that press. He's big enough. Yes. All right, another Godzilla headline. Let's go into this. Godzilla vs. Kong 2, The New Empire. First test screenings reportedly gaining praise from fans. Yeah, now this movie is shot. It's all in the can from what I understand. And it's supposed to come out next year. But Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, early snippets have been predominantly well received by fans, where they fight like this orangutan monster or something like that. That's much stronger than Kong. Okay. But it's also going to have much more other kaiju in it, from what I understand. Uh, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire is shaping up to be the ultimate achievement of MonsterVerse franchise, blending epic face-offs with fresh, a fresh dose of humor. I don't know if I like the sounds of that. Uh, Please no Marvel humor. We're done with the Marvel humor. Initial test screenings of film have generated positive audience reactions, with a particular acclaim to Dan Stevens' performance in the impressive. Dan Stevens, that's an interesting casting choice. Dan Stevens, um, Downton Abbey. Where was he? Well, he was also in The Guest or something like that. That a lot of people praise. Um, he was in last year's Cabinet of Curiosities. Um, you recognize him, Downton Abbey, yes. So he has the Godzilla X Kong New Empire series coming out April 12th, 2024. Now, it's still holding that release date, April 12th, but I don't know if it's going to get pushed due to depending on when this actors strike gets resolved. We had that teaser, and that's all we've had. And now we've got word of the press screenings going well. Rebecca Hall's going to be back in this. Brian Tyree Henry, he's awesome. Who else is in this? Fela Chen, Casey Riley. I recognize anybody else in here? Nicola Crissa, no. Jacob Hua, or I don't know what the heck that is. But yeah, let's see if do we have any quotes here. Neb on his X account says, Godzilla X Kong had a test screening yesterday, and y'all won't believe how effing funny this movie's going to be. Effing funny. Well, here's the thing, too. Yes, Godzilla in the past has been a little bit silly. But it looks like, for the most part, they've been trying to veer away from that stuff because it just didn't work. Where, yeah, you've got him like lifting off and flying through the air, and it just looks bad. It just doesn't look like I hope it's not that kind of funny. I want it to be more kind of like, oh, he just destroyed a building kind of funny. A satirical look on it. That's the way I'm looking at it, right? But yeah, Kong and Godzilla have that balance that I hope is well mixed, and not the MCU kind of humor where you see somebody doing the splits or hanging up on the phone and somebody's still trying to talk into it, like that kind of stuff. Don't do that. Joke around about how big they are and how big they destroy buildings and stuff. But yeah, this orangutan monster that we see in the background, can't wait to see them throw down in that. As you know, I am a big fan of this franchise, so I want to see how it goes. Godzilla really only has two gears of horror comedy. Yeah, horror and comedy. I'll have to catch Godzilla in Canada before it hits UK and Ireland, otherwise the spoilers will be thick and fast online. Well, Art Glass, when you come over here, hopefully you may have to stay in the Toronto area to pick up Godzilla Minus One, because I don't know if it'll be playing here in the KW area. And I don't know how long you're here for, so we'll have to see. All right. Guys, what do you think about that story? Let me know about what you think about the Godzilla storylines in the comments below. We're going to talk about Cloverfield here in just a few minutes, but hey, if you want to follow me on all the other social medias, you get to see some stories and behind the scenes stuff there on the TikTok and Instagram. And we play video games over on Twitch. We play World of Warcraft, Street Fighter 6. All right. And we're going to be playing Tekken 8 when it comes out. All right. What else can you find here on the channel? Well, this Friday is a release on Netflix called Pain Hustlers, starring Emily Blunt and Chris Evans. They get caught up in some kind of pharmaceutical scam or something. I'm watching it because of Emily Blunt. There it is, hands down. Come join us Friday, 1 p.m. We'll be watching that. My review for Killers of the Flower Moon is up right now, and it's come under some criticisms, for sure, even though I said I liked the movie, but whatever. Episodes 4, we're going through the new Survivor season and the new Hell's Kitchen on Thursdays and Fridays, so come join us for that. If you like those TV shows, The Fall of the House of Usher dropped on Netflix the other week, and we binged all of the episodes, guys. It's a great, fantastic series. One of the better series of the year for sure. The acting is phenomenal. Movie reviews and full reactions for Reptile, actually. Justin Timberlake, Benicio del Toro trying to hunt down a killer or something. Weird. Cool, man. Reviews were totally killer. Still one of my favorite movies of October. Go check that out. And of course, then we do movie news throughout the week here. Let's continue on with some of the big kaiju monster movie news because that's my bag. New Cloverfield movie is in the works. New Cloverfield film will be very cool. A very cool sequel, says Dan Trachtenberg. 10 Cloverfield Lane, Dan Trachtenberg. The new Cloverfield film is very cool. Is a very cool sequel to the original. Dan Trachtenberg, the guy of Predator Prey. He directed Predator Prey and 10 Cloverfield Lane. So he's got a great talent. He does. Cloverfield, the first Cloverfield was directed by Matt Reeves, the guy who went on to do Batman with Robert Pattinson. I don't know if he's going to be coming back. From what I understand, it's going to be Dan Trachtenberg picking up the sequel, right? Trachtenberg, 10 Cloverfield Lane. No, wait, hold on. Babak Anvari is signed on to direct. Okay. Under the Shadows. Babak Anvari is signed on to direct the new Cloverfield sequel. From screenplay iBoy writer Joe Barton. The information we've really learned about this new Cloverfield sequel is that it's unlike the original film. So it's not going to be found footage. Yeah, they've got to jettison the found footage way. That was a shtick that came and went, and it's kind of like, yeah, you can still do it where you've got a bunch of people holding their phones and trying to film it. But to cut together a narrative like that and have constant excuses to try to have the phone there when it really wouldn't be, that kind of stuff lost its charm. Just have a straight up film like 10 Cloverfield Lane. It won't be presented in the found footage style. Good. But during an interview with Cinema Blend, Dan Trachtenberg revealed the film is setting aside the anthology approach. Good, because that Space One really sucked. Approach to be a direct sequel to the original film. Well, it's about time. God's sakes, we also need. He also said it's going to be very cool. Huh. So Trachtenberg also went on to say, if he was asked if there had been any talk about such a sequel, he said, not really. The sequel to the original Cloverfield Lane. I would still totally be open to it. I think he was asked about a sequel to his 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I would be open for. I want to see Mary Elizabeth Winstead take on some aliens. I do. He said that he would be totally still open to it. I think 10 Cloverfield Lane, Mary Elizabeth Winstead would. We talked a little bit in it, like what if scenarios, and then I was pulled. All the filmmakers were sort of pulled into other things, but I would still consider it. There's lots that would be in the genre that would be in, but you would never know. The sequel they're making is very cool. So he's aware of, Trachtenberg's aware of this sequel going forward. Very cool. A direct sequel to that Cloverfield movie. Well, of course, the big monster. From all intents and purposes, we don't know was destroyed or not. We know that big bombs were dropped on it, and the two stars were probably killed in the fallout. We don't know that either. Maybe they did survive, but even if they did they need to be in the sequel? I don't know. There's still lots to do that you could do. It's a big kaiju. Why not? The writer's strike is done, so they can continue working on the script. But as far as putting actors together and that new director, Babak Anvari, I don't know what else he could do until the actor strike is done. Let's pull up this guy's resume. There he is himself, Babak. Let's pull up his IMDb and see if it's listed Let's take off the producers. He's got one upcoming, the untitled Cloverfield sequel. No cast, nothing. Plot unknown. Writers, J.J. Abrams is writing it. Somehow, the main characters of the first Cloverfield have returned. Yes, JJ, you're going to be hearing that for the rest of your life because you let that line go in The Rise of Skywalker. One of the worst lines in cinematic history. Somehow Palpatine has returned. It's like, for God's sakes. God's sakes. Oh, mercy. Okay, so this other director, he's done Monsterland, a TV series, a bunch of shorts. He's done something called Wounds and I Came By in 2022. I Came By follows a young graffiti artist who discovers a shocking secret that would put him and the ones closest to him in danger. Who's in it? A bunch of people I don't know. Hugh Bonneville's in it. Oh, is this the one where Hugh Bonneville plays he plays one of the bad guys, right? He's the bad guy in this? Is that what that is? Hugh Bonneville talking about Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey. So he's a graffiti artist, and I guess he graffitis Hugh Bonneville's place or something. Actually, that looks like it could be fairly interesting. 2022, huh? Show me Hugh Bonneville. She looks familiar too. She was the wife in No Country for Old Men, wasn't she? So I'm guessing and he's a rich guy, of course. He just plays that so easily. But I'm guessing he takes out revenge on them. Yeah, I remember that. So he's going to be directing the new Cloverfield. Fascinating. Maybe we do have something in the works here. Chris Schober in the live chat says, "Hey James, how's it going?" Art Glass says, "I wonder will McDonald's do a kaiju burger and their rivals do Burger King Kong burger?" I don't know. Did they ever do anything like that? Maybe. Let's continue on talking more monsters. Because now it's been revealed about not Benicio. Guillermo del Toro is doing a Frankenstein movie. And now we know who is going to be playing who. It's going to be with Mia Goth, Oscar Isaac, Andrew Garfield, and Christoph Waltz. We thought that maybe Andrew Garfield would be playing the monster. It's Oscar Isaac playing the monster. And Andrew Garfield is going to be playing Dr. Frankenstein. And Mia Goth is going to be the bride. That makes sense. She's awesome. Mia Goth is fantastic. The IMDb synopsis says Dr. Pretorius, who needs to track down Frankenstein's monster, who is believed to have died in a fire 40 years before, in order to continue the experiments of Dr. Frankenstein. Oh. So what is Christoph Waltz going to be playing Dr. Pretorius? And he's trying to pick up Dr. Frankenstein's work, and we're going to get flashbacks of Andrew Garfield? Fascinating. Oscar Isaac, Andrew Garfield, Mia Goth roles revealed in Guillermo del Toro's. From Del Toro, he's one of my favorite directors right now. He's in my top 5, guys. I'll watch anything Del Toro puts out because he's just that talented. He demands that kind of respect. So, Del Toro recently confirmed that casting news and added Christoph Waltz will be in the film as well. Now we know which roles they'll be playing. So, according to the site, was it comingsoon.net? Says Garfield will be playing Dr. Frankenstein himself, while Isaac takes on the role of the monster and Goth plays the bride. They've also heard that the project is going to be under the working title Prodigal Father, and that it has the following logline: set in Eastern Europe in the 19th century, the story of Dr. Pretorius, who needs to track down Frankenstein's monster, who is believed to have died in a fire 40 years before, in order to continue the experiments of Dr. Frankenstein. In that case, it would be easy to assume that Waltz will be playing Dr. Pretorius. Yeah, that's what we surmised when we looked at the IMDb. There's only 4 main cast members, but that's fine. You know who else would work well in this is Ro Coley, that guy right there. Why not? Yeah, he's an awesome actor. He's in uh, Fall of House of Usher. But anyway, I digress. I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Del Toro's been slowly making his monster movies that he's been inspired by from like the 1930s and such, with Creature from the Black Lagoon. What was that? Shape of Water. And now he's got his hands on Frankenstein. I can't wait to see his version of Dracula, because he's doing it, man. And Del Toro is, his movies are hit and miss. Even if you didn't like Nightmare Alley, visually it's just wow. What he comes up with is wow. So I'm looking forward to that. No official release date just yet, but now that we know it's confirmed who's playing who, I'm sure that it'll start shooting sometime next year. So maybe 2025. Yeah, well, that sounds about right. I don't think it'll be done and completed by 2024. So 2025, Frankenstein. Cool. What do you guys think? All right. Let's go on and talk about the Marvels that's opening up soon. That I was anticipating, and I still am for the most part. We need to start watching Miss Marvel. We may do that this afternoon. We'll watch the first 2 episodes of Miss Marvel maybe this afternoon to start getting ourselves caught up. The Marvels officially clocks in with a record-breaking MCU time. Now, we knew about this runtime a while back, wasn't it? It was going to be like an hour and 35 minutes? Disney confirms the runtime, the shortest in MCU's history, breaking a decade-long record. An hour and 45 minutes. Okay, it's an hour and 45 minutes, but that's probably with credits. By the way, I'm not going to be sticking around for... Actually, I kind of have to let you know if there is going to be a post-credit scene. There probably is. It's Marvel. I want to see it. I want to see the movie. I just don't want to stick around for credits, especially for... Oh, God. Anyway, that's only for an hour and 45 minutes, James. The shorter runtime suggests a tight and fast-paced story. Hopefully it is, reflecting the thrilling and dynamic tone of the film's trailers. So, just to reiterate that the Marvels has not had any advanced reviews. I guess the review embargo is just going to be like Five Nights at Freddy's, where it's going to be the day of is when the embargo drops. It's poised to be a bomb. It's going to be a bomb. It's just one of those things, guys. The MCU has been floundering. The MCU has had no real sense of clear direction as to where it's going. And each movie keeps on reflecting that, where it's kind of like, what does this have to do with Guardians of the Galaxy? And what does Guardians of the Galaxy have to do with this? What did I don't know, Ant-Man and the Wasp have to do with this? It's not driving towards an Avengers movie here. Or what does Loki have to do with Captain Marvel, right? It's kind of like, and they keep on relentlessly saying, don't worry, it'll all come together at the end of this phase. And it's like, well, we got to the end of phase 4 and we still have no idea what the heck this is going on. I guess we're driving towards Secret Wars. I guess we're driving towards Kang Dynasty. Does anybody ever want to see that? By the way, we hear that it's gone worse legally for Jonathan Majors. So it's kind of like, what's happening in the MCU? And stop teasing us. Stop having these movies as the next setup for what's coming next and just have a good single contained movie. But it'll come, it'll go, and I'll watch it. I'll report on it. I'll review it fairly. And you guys know I am really strict when it comes to movies and how I rank things. just look no further than what I said about Killers of the Flower Moon. Um, I struggled to get a 7.5 out of me, and I got it, but it was kind of like I had to make some concessions. So a movie as well received as Killers of the Flower Moon, I was a little bit critical of. Um, if it's good, guys, I can overlook bad editing, bad visual effects, like I did with The Flash, if the story narratively works. But if the story doesn't work, then all of those things, editing, uh, pacing, sticks out like a sore thumb. And hopefully, the Marvels and the MCU picks up, and we don't hear any more things like Blade is struggling because we just can't crack that story. Um, yeah. And I'm not the only one saying this. Apparently, Matthew Vaughn is also saying this. Kingsman and the X-Men First Class filmmaker Matthew Vaughn thinks Marvel needs to make less films, and they need to make less TV series. I mean, hey, we know here on YouTube, more doesn't necessarily mean better. Like, I publish videos on a daily basis here, pretty much. Like, on the weekends, sometimes I'll take 2 days off, but for the most part, you're still getting 6 days out of the week content in it. Does that do anything? No. I just, I want to talk about stuff. I read these stories and I share my experience with you guys, but if I really wanted to make stuff, I would start making videos that people want to see, and not, it would be like, I don't know, it would be weird. Anyway, first filmmaker, yeah, First Class. He thinks Matthew Vaughn's been out talking about his upcoming Kick-Ass reboot and Kingsman 3 stuff, because he's got that Argyle movie coming out in November as well. Argyle, right? So he said at a Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, I genuinely don't know what's happening with the superhero genre in that sense. I don't think, well, maybe we need a little bit time off from it. But James Batman did so well. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 did so well. But you're only pointing at 2, and the rest of them all kind of, bleh. Thor, Love and Thunder. And Marvels is not going to do that well. Blue Beetle has barely scraped back some of its earnings, right? What's the other big bomb of this year? Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Black Adam. No, guys, no. You're pointing to one diamond in the rough and saying that accounts for the rest of the other ones, and you can't do that. You can't. You got to stop listening to those pundits that say that. Oh, but look at that. Comic book fatigue is not real. No, it is. It totally is. Anyway, maybe someone will make something so great that we will get excited again. And a lot of people are hoping that James Gunn's reboot of Superman will do that. Superhero films are films. It's a film that has superheroes in it. I think what happened was that they became superheroes and that the film part wasn't that important. Well, that too. And it's just become too much of a rinse and repeat with Marvel, where, okay, yeah, here are the good guys. Here's your villain. They're going to beat the villain at the end of the movie. And that's it. Oh, and we have some jokes. It's like rinse and repeat. You got to do something different with it to get us excited again. And don't make the superhero tormented to be a superhero. We're done with that too. I don't want to see a Superman that's like, should I use my powers to save people or not? It's like, no, God, for God's sakes, you've got a good heart in you. That's not a question to you that you would ever question in yourself at all, because you're Superman. Anyway, when you're making a superhero movie, you sort of have to work harder because you've got to make it. You got to make people believe it. He continued, that's why X-Men First Class was pretty grounded. We said it in the Cuban Missile Crisis. They had relatable human problems, and that wasn't relying on CGI. Well, a lot of that had to do with the bad guys as well, like the way that they opened up with Kevin Bacon's character crushing and defeating Magneto, mentoring him to be that relentless person seeking vengeance, right? But I agree with him about the character side. Do I expect to see a lot of character development? What is Captain Marvel's character? What does she stand for? Yeah, she wants to help people, but I don't really know that much about her. She got her powers from one of the Infinity Stones. What's her arc? I don't know. And that's predominant now in a lot of the MCU stories. We got conclusion in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because we knew that that was only going to be a trilogy and that was closing off their story arcs. But as far as Ant-Man's arc, what is Ant-Man's arc now? Oh, he wants to be a good father to his daughter now, or protector from the Avengers, or what? Yeah, what are the? You just don't know anymore, right? Um, Arglass says, I think The Boys has a great formula showing the underbelly of the superhero and dispatching the flawed characters with villainous intent. Hopefully, the end credit scene for the Marvels will give us a glimpse that the new Marvel Universe phase is going to be like quality over quantity. Well, I hope so. But the Marvels was made with the old mentality, and it's kind of like I hope Feige comes in and just maybe takes some counsel from advice that yes, slow down a bit, man. Slow down a bit. All right. Well, we've beaten that with it as as much as we could. Let's continue on. One of my favorite actresses is Halle Berry. She's in the top 10 for sure for me. The Process, Halle Berry is set to produce and star in psychological thriller. She's also a really good director. She directed recently something on Netflix where she was like a boxer that was just down on her luck and fought through adversity. And she did a really good job directing that too. But she's going to be producing stuff, which is really cool. She's a great actress too. She's still got it, guys. She's still got the chops. And whenever she's on the screen, you're just like, I want to see what she's doing. John Wick, Parabellum, fantastic. Halle Berry is set to appear in a new psychological thriller about a cult and will produce through her banner Halle Holly. Okay, so prior to the strike, she was attached herself to a new psychological thriller titled The Process. Okay. Berry's coming off her personal passion project from Netflix, which she also directed, about an MMA fighter called Bruised. Yeah, that's what it was called. It was called Bruised. It was okay. Um, in recent disaster movie, Moonfall. Oh, yeah, we watched Moonfall here. That was terrible. That was awful. And that's saying praise for it. So, Kravis and Herman shared their enthusiasm about the upcoming project. We are thrilled to be working with Halle Holly to bring Levin's amazing screenplay to the screen. Tara's vision for the film, a Kubrickian psychological thriller taking us down the rabbit hole of a self-help cult, or self-help cults. And Halle's interpretation of the film's lead character, Kursa, a woman fighting to preserve her marriage and her sanity amid an oppressive cult of personality, will leave audiences breathless. The synopsis from Deadline involves a seemingly happily married couple who attended the weekend seminar of Aiden, a renowned self-help guru, and are asked to examine their individual lives, careers, and ultimately their marriage. When Kursa resists Aiden's process and his cult of committed volunteers and Peter buys in, their relationships and sanity are quickly put to the test. Fascinating. Yeah, so things go awry at this self-help thing, right? The director Migley also glowed about the script. It's so rare to find a script like Levin Minetsky's The Process that is gripping and emotionally resonant. Of course, you know Halle's going to bring it. So, do we have anything more about this? Do we have anybody else attached? It's one of those projects where I'm sure that it probably just outright stalled once all of the strikes happened. But Mod versus Mod, Never Let Go, the Union Mothership. So it's not listed yet on her IMDb. Producer. Whoops. That's not what I want. James, you just clicked off the producer thing. There we go. Mothership Never Let Go and Mod versus Mod. So it's not on that. Fascinating. Who would play a good kind of creepy self-help guru? Let me see. I think, who would be a good self-help guru that could add some creep? We just talked about him. Dan Stevens, self-help guru. That would be awesome. And then, of course, there's the nefarious side that he's got this cult following him. He's got the looks. He's got that charismatic quality about him. He was that creepy TV host that showed up in Cabinet of Curiosities, where he sort of played that type of role. So it's kind of like, if you could get a hold of him, that would be awesome, Halle. That would be really cool. Awesome. Can't wait for that. Next, Sofia Coppola has a new movie opening up soon called Priscilla, with Jacob Elordi and Kaylee Spaney, about Elvis and Priscilla Presley. Now, this article, I am a fan of her work, and Marie Antoinette is my favorite movie of hers. And I want to watch it with you guys, because it rolls like this. It's so entertaining. And we never get to the part where she gets her head cut off. It's before all of that stuff. It's more of like how she became into power and stuff. But I liked it a lot. Priscilla director called not wanting to make movies anymore after a hard shoot. Yeah, Marie Antoinette. She had a great time with Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, they've worked together since then on a couple of things, right? Jason Schwartzman was in that, about being in Versailles. She says, quote, "I was just worn out and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Marie Antoinette was just a hard shoot, and then I was just over it for a minute. My daughter was born and I was trying to take a pause." So she took time off work. She's 55 now. And yeah, maybe that's what she just needed. She needed some time off. Hey, you just had a daughter, so yeah, focus in on that. Lost in Translation director. Yeah, she did that as well. Lots of people like that movie. "I don't feel in a hurry to make more stuff," she responded. "And if I don't make any more else, I wouldn't feel like I would feel like I have made enough stuff." Yeah. So, this movie of hers is going to be a little bit controversial, because it's all from Priscilla's point of view. It's not about Elvis, and it's not going to have any Elvis music in it, which is going to throw a lot of people off and turn people's noses up right away. That it's not going to have any of Elvis's music in it. November 3rd is when this comes out. When a teenage Priscilla meets Elvis Presley, the man who is already a meteoric rock and roll superstar becomes someone entirely unexpected in private moments, a thrilling crush, an ally in loneliness, a vulnerable best friend. Of course, we know how things ended with them, not great. But I hear reasonably good things about it. And I do want to see this because of Kaylee Spaney. She's going to be in the new Alien movie next year. And she was also in The Craft Legacy. She starred in that. Jacob Elordi, he's going to be also in another movie in November called Saltburn. I don't know about his performance as Elvis. I'm not really watching it for that. He sort of looks like him there a bit, right? But when you see him head on, he doesn't really look like it. Like the makeup in this and the costuming looks phenomenal. That's why I primarily want to see it. Because Sofia Coppola does have that flair for bringing in all that other stuff, like the costuming, the production design. She works all of that stuff out rigorously, and it shows. And if you ever watched Marie Antoinette. That's one of the big reasons why I liked it, because just the sets and like costumes were just like, wow. And she's got it. She's got the eye for it. So that's why I'm looking forward to it. But we'll have to see. Hopefully it does well. Is Priscilla out on Rotten Tomatoes yet? I know that it did hit the awards circuit. Let's just take a look. 93% by critics. So people like it. I want to check it out. Kaylee Spaney. All right. Some somber news, guys. Some somber news. Richard Roundtree has passed on at the age of 81, and I'll publish a short about this later on today. Suave star of Shaft. In addition to playing Street Smart Private Eye, he was in Roots, Once Upon a Time, When We Were Colored, Man of Friday. In fact, if you pull up his IMDb, guys, it's quite extensive. And Richard Roundtree, 1942 to 2023. I guess he had a bout of, I guess he had breast cancer at one point. Yes, guys can get that, guys. But then it was a bout of pancreatic cancer that finally took him out, which is probably not the best wording that I used there, but it was his undoing. He was working right until 2023, though. Reverend Alonzo Sparks in Collar Director's Cut, Cherish the Day. So he was still working, man. He's still got a few things coming out from a TV series called Buddies. Swedish Erotica, a comedy short. And something called Thelma that he's going to appear in. Follows Thelma Post, a 90-year-old grandmother who is deceived by a phone scammer pretending to be her grandson, and sets out on a quest to reclaim what was taken from her. Cool. That sounds interesting. It's got Parker Posey. Of course, it's got Richard Roundtree. June Squibb plays in this. Oh, and Clark Gregg. Malcolm McDowell. Huh. Big cast. Have to look for that. Probably the last time you'll see him up on the big screen. Shaft star, Richard Roundtree. Man. Great career. Yeah, as I said, you scroll down through his credits on IMDb, 159 credits. Still looking sharp in his old age there. Richard Roundtree, rest in peace. All right, guys, let's move on to some hit or miss headlines. If it's a hit, we'll talk about it. If it's a miss, we'll move on. He was in that Shaft reboot as well, right? With Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Arglass says apparently he was in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I don't remember that episode. I don't remember it either. So hit or miss. If it's a hit, we'll talk about it. If it's a miss, we'll move on. Austin Butler praises Dune Part 2 director Denis is one of the greatest filmmakers alive. Yeah, Denis Villeneuve is also one of my top 5 directors right now because of his work. He's also somebody who spends a lot of time crafting what sets are going to look like, what costumes are going to look like, what the shots and the scope and tone is going to feel like for his movies. And each one is different, man. Arrival looks totally different from Prisoners. And he could do smaller movies like Enemy. And it's too bad that Enemy one got taken down from YouTube, because that's still one of my favorite movies from Denis Villeneuve. But it happens. So Austin Butler praises him. I know this version of Fade, Ralta Harkonnen, will not please. It hasn't pleased a lot of people because Fade was known to have the hair, the red hair, which was described in the books, right? And he was suave. People liked him, right? It was even mentioned like the Baron liked him for some reason. But yeah, The bald look is it's a curious choice. They went with that look throughout all the Harkonnens, so maybe that's why they went with it. Anyway, Austin Butler praising him. Is there really that much to talk about that? Of course he praises his director. Quote, Denis is one of the greatest filmmakers alive, so the idea of getting to work with him and then you and all of the cast was so exciting for me. The thing is, Denis is y'all give an idea and his mind will start to percolate. And then he'll come back with 10 more, and then you're feeding off of each other's imaginations. Yeah. Well, that sounds cool too. Like he likes being in that creative process with actors and stuff, blocking out scenes, trying different things if it's not working, kind of thing. That's great. Um, it has been shifted. It was supposed to come out this year, guys. It was supposed to come out this December, Doom Part 2. But it has been shifted to March 15th. The Ides of March. I don't know if it's going to hold that date. Uh, yeah. And I don't expect IMDb to have that. March 15th. Oh, March is it's such a hit and miss. I don't know. Rollerball champion in the live chat says, shame we have to wait till next year for Doom Part 2. Yeah. Hair is so overrated. Bald Austin is more menacing. Well, I do like the look. It is an interesting look. And he does look creepy in some of the footage that we've seen. So I can't wait to see him throw down with Timothée Chalamet's Paul Atreides. More deep. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Next. That was a hit, right? Olivia Colman, Dev Patel team for twisted romance called Wicker. Okay. So it's set to open foreign sales in the American film market. Well, I like Olivia Colman. She was really good in Secret Invasion series. She was a character I would like to see more of her in the MCU. And her and Samuel L. Jackson had some great off bouncing off of each other. Dev Patel, Green Knight, of course, great actor. What is this movie about? Wicker? Well, the synopsis reads that basically Coleman will play a smelly and ridiculed fisherwoman in a seaside village where, fed up with the small-minded neighbors, she commissions herself a husband to be made of wicker, who is going to be played by Patel, a wicker husband. What? That's weird. Twisted romance, huh? Well, I do like the actors, so we might have to check that out. Pain Hustlers. Yeah, we're watching this Friday, guys. 1 p.m. here on Mirror Domains. Pain Hustlers. We're watching it. David Yates directs. I was looking for something that didn't have wizards in it. Yeah, he was recently asked if he was going to return to the Harry Potter TV series that's going to be the reboot of the franchise. And he said, nope, don't want anything to do with it. He wants to branch off and do other things. And he's been doing other things, making movies with Chris Evans and Emily Blunt, who's just... Hi, Emily. Anyway, I'm David Yates is a good director. These two are good actors. Pain Hustlers. Just doesn't seem to be any buzz for it, man. Where's the buzz? Pain Hustlers. 28%. That's why there's no buzz. God, 28%. Yeah, we're watching it though. We're going to sit through the 2 hours and 2 minutes of this movie. It's got a great cast. Andy Garcia. Why didn't it land? It's supposed to have a good director with David Yates, right? Maybe he can't work outside of the MCU. I want to see Catherine O'Hara too. Catherine O'Hara. Chloe Coleman. Next. Insomniac has cracked the code to Spider-Man, but will Marvel listen? Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is out now on PlayStation, guys. Have you played it? Um, I just don't have time to play all of these games. I want to, but it's kind of like, also, I don't have the money. When it comes out on Steam, maybe I can get it. But I read this article this morning, and basically they broke up the stories, um, from what I understand. So you got the Peter Parker storyline, but you also got a Miles Morales storyline and an MJ storyline, and they all go out in the city and do things, and eventually they all come to work together in the end. Is that what happens? Why? Yeah, I don't understand why it's been taking so long for Marvel or even Sony to produce a Miles Morales movie. We know that we're going to get one. That is in the works. We are getting one. It's just, why did it take so long for it to happen? And they should be interchangeable. All of these Spider-Man, nobody's going to get confused. Nobody got confused when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire came up in Spider-Man No Way Home. Everybody cheered in the theater. So it's like, if you get Miles Morales in there as well, work it, man. Work it. That's what I say. Next. Beau is afraid. Ari Aster is disappointed reaction to the film, but hopes audiences will still come to appreciate it. I like the final act when he's talking with his mother in the house. It's just, the movie takes so many side kind of quests where it's like, okay, he's in the forest now. Wait a minute, what's going on in the apartment? Is there going to be any fallout or repercussions to that? It was an interesting approach. Oh, what's with this weird family and the daughter who drinks Drano or something? It's like, what the heck is going on here? And then you get into some phallic monster up in the attic, and it's like, oh, it's artistic, but it's kind of like Ari Aster just, he was let off the leash. They let him do whatever he wanted. It only made 11 million on a $35 million budget. It didn't have a high budget, but it just was not well received. And it's got to be one of the biggest blunders of the year. The film ends on a theater, just very gradually emptying out over the credits in a very different audience. I wasn't quite ready for how prophetic that ending was going to be. I don't know. It may turn into a cult classic in years to come, but right now his best effort is still Hereditary, and he's still riding high off of that. I know Midsummer has his audience. That's the one where it kind of like the length of the movie was, if Midsummer was an hour and 45 minutes, it would have been great. But it was like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it's like, yeah, we know what's going to happen here. They're going to get eaten alive, or they're going to get brutally killed. We understand it. They're in a cult. Get on with it. And that's what I felt a lot with Beau is Afraid too. It's kind of like, just get on with it. Stop with these 3-hour things that don't need to be 3 hours. We talked about that the other day too. That new movies are just too long, and I talked about Beau is Afraid. Next. Oh, is that it? That's it. Yeah. So I was just looking on Google Trends. Yeah, let me reload this. Looking at to see what's being searched. Of course, it's a lot of sports stuff, a lot of political stuff. Richard Roundtree's. So we're going to publish that short. I'll publish that short, and maybe that'll get some traction drive towards the channel. Jenna Ellis. And this is the kind of thing here, guys, that we would have to somehow start talking about. If we wanted to start driving traffic towards this channel, I would have to somehow figure out a way to incorporate this stuff. Because when I talk about movie news stuff, and I have interesting takes on it, I got also interesting takes on other things. It's people coming to watch me and what I interpret, kind of thing, right? From stories. And I got to figure out a way to transform that. I got to start to maybe think about branching out a bit. but I really just want to get back into the movies. I don't I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go over to the Twitterverse. 11:30. We're running just a little bit overtime today, but that's fine. See if I missed anything. See if any new trailers dropped, maybe. Mickey Madison is confirmed to be in Sean Baker's next movie, Andorra. Well, I do like Mickey Madison. She was in Scream 5, and I said from her performance in that, Mikey, oh, sorry, it's Mikey. Yeah, I think in an interview I saw that it was pronounced Mikey, not Mickey, right? Great actress, and I want to see a lot more from her. She was in Sick this year, right? But I haven't seen yet. Was she in that? Scream. No, she was in Better Things. Who was in Sick then? Lady in the Lake, All Souls, and Nora. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like more people need to jump on getting her into movies because she's got a presence to her that that works, man. Mikey Madison. Now, who the heck was I thinking of? Who was in Sick? Oh, Gideon Adelon. That's right. She was in Craft Legacy. That's who I was thinking. Gideon. She's also really good. Um, they sort of look similar, I suppose. Maybe that's why I was getting confused. Right? Gideon, Mikey, Gideon, Mikey. They look alike. Maybe that's why I got them confused. But both good actresses, good supporting actresses. Get them in more stuff. That's the way I say. All right, next. The official trailer for Maestro has been released. All right, well, I don't know if we're going to watch that. That's that Bradley Cooper directed movie where he plays this composer throughout the years. We're going to see him at different ages and stuff like that. That trailer has dropped. Carey Mulligan in this. She's always fantastic. She's going to be in that movie in November as well. Saltburn. I don't know. This movie is it's got to be careful of riding that pretentious wave, right? But its primary purpose to be made was just like Killers of the Flower Moon. It's made to win awards. Alexander Payne and Paul Giamatti, you reunite over The Holdovers. We just talked about Alexander Payne yesterday, right? Apple TV Plus is increasing its subscription price, $3. There's Priscilla. We just talked about Priscilla. Kaylee Spaney. Yeah, she's of that class of Mikey Madison and obviously Gideon Adlon, right? She's, well, because she worked with Gideon, so that's cool. New poster for The Crown final season. Rachel Zegler. Apparently Disney's trying to dump her. They don't want to work with her ever again after once Snow White comes out, which is going to be a monumental bomb. And Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Just keep her out of the limelight, guys. Just don't use her in the marketing. And it's her own fault for spouting off stuff. Fight Club came out 20 years ago. Oh, no. Fincher says he hasn't seen Fight Club in 20 years. Yeah, Fight Club came out in the 90s. It's been more than 20 years. It's more like 25 years, hasn't it? All right. Guys, I'm hungry. I need some breakfast. Godzilla Minus One will be released in the UK and Irish cinemas on December 15th. Yep. We started there. Let's end there. All right, guys. What did you guys think about that? movie news stuff. Some stuff will be cut out and put up on the channel later. Hit that thumbs up button. Come join us this afternoon. I think we will watch the first 2 episodes of Miss Marvel, 1 p.m. here on the channel, or 1:30ish, depending on what time I get back from my walk. If not, I want to test. I'm trying my light in a different position because I am. That's what I am. What? Ardglass, you still haven't seen Fight Club? Wow. Maybe we need to watch that here on the channel. Although we'll have to watch it for some nudity. It's very graphic. Full frontal. All right. See you guys in a little bit. If not, enjoy the rest of your day. And join us tomorrow morning for Survivor, Episode 5. Yes. You're watching Mirror Domain.